I said LeBron only cares about points so that he conserves energy so he don't run back on defense. Defense is a mindset. It takes energy. It takes effort. And if he does that, then those points and those numbers drop. And you know the LeBron James fans really don't give a damn if they win the game. They just care about LeBron James points. So much so that he don't care about winning the game anymore. He just care about points.
Kwame Brown just dropped a bombshell by saying that LeBron James is no longer playing to win basketball games. He's playing to protect stats. According to Kwame, what we're watching right now isn't greatness, leadership, or championship basketball. It's a veteran superstar conserving energy on one side of the court so he can pad numbers on the other while the team suffers for it. And the worst part, the fan base and the media are helping him get away with it.
And I am at a point in my career now where I don't lose sleep over that. Like, fuck, how did me and Luka lose?
Right. So let me ask you this. If your team loses but your favorite player drops 30 points, is that really a win? Or is that just stat padding disguised as greatness? Drop your answer in the comments.
This person may or may not be getting back on defense. And you show a film of this person not getting back on defense, and then you hear media pundits, now the excuse is, well, hell, he's old. He's not supposed to get back on defense. He's old, or he can't play defense because he's old.
Kwame's main point is simple but uncomfortable. Defense is not optional. Defense is not a suggestion. Defense is a mindset, and it takes effort. It takes pride. And when a player decides that defense is no longer worth their energy, that tells you everything you need to know about their priorities. The trade-off is obvious. When LeBron locks in defensively, his scoring dips. His assist numbers dip. His stat lines don't look as pretty. And that's the last thing he wants at this stage of his career.
If you can't get back on defense, then that lets me know it's time to take those sneakers and throw them up across the line. You know, out there in the hood in LA, they say they got sneakers thrown across the power line. It's time to throw them sneakers across the power line if you can't run back on defense. Because there's a difference between what I'm saying. I said LeBron only cares about points so that he conserves energy so he don't run back on defense.
What really frustrates Kwame isn't just LeBron's effort, it's the culture surrounding it. He calls out LeBron fans directly, saying they don't even care if the Lakers win anymore. As long as LeBron drops 30, the loss doesn't matter. A blowout loss becomes a good night if the box score looks right. In Kwame's eyes, that's not basketball. That's stat worship. That's people treating numbers like trophies while ignoring the scoreboard. And when that mindset spreads, winning stops being the priority.
When it's time to hang it up is if you can't run back on defense. Nobody expects LeBron to be able to play top-tier defense anymore. Nobody expects him to keep a 25-year-old in front of him. But we do expect LeBron not to try to leak out early to go get a layup, and then he gives up an offensive rebound.
Kwame makes it clear that this isn't personal hatred toward LeBron. He says it over and over again. He doesn't hate LeBron James. He hates that style of play. He hates players who care more about individual numbers than team success. He hates watching guys stare at the stat sheet on the sideline like it's going to magically turn an L into a W. Because the stat sheet doesn't show effort. It doesn't show hustle. It doesn't show missed rotations, blown coverages, or a superstar jogging back while his teammates scramble to clean up the mess.
It doesn't make me a hater of LeBron. It makes me a hater of that style of play. I do not like stat padders. I do not like people that care more about stats than they care about winning. I don't like guys looking at the stat sheet on the sideline. That stat sheet ain't gonna tell you you're getting your ass kicked. It ain't gonna change that L to a W. So it ain't the stat sheet gonna show you.
And that's where the film comes in. Kwame emphasizes that film doesn't lie. Film doesn't care about reputation. Film doesn't care about age. Film doesn't care about GOAT debates. Film shows who runs back and who doesn't. Film shows who boxes out and who leaks out early looking for easy points. Film exposes effort, or the lack of it. And according to Kwame, the film is exposing LeBron James night after night on the defensive end.
That when you're in front of a guy and you gotta box him out, and you don't wrap around him, get behind him, and give him a layup like you did Steven Adams. We expect you not to do that. But we understand he's 41 years old. He don't have the energy and effort that it takes to play defense. Defense is a mindset. It takes energy. It takes effort. And if he does that, then those points and those numbers drop. And you know the LeBron James fans really don't give a damn if they win the game. They just care about LeBron James points. So much so that he don't care about winning the game anymore. He just care about points.
Every time someone brings this up, the excuses come flying. He's old. He's 41. He can't be expected to play defense anymore. Kwame calls that nonsense. If you're too old to play defense, you're too old to be on the floor. Period. Nobody is asking LeBron to guard a 25-year-old superstar one-on-one for 48 minutes. Nobody expects him to be an elite perimeter stopper anymore. But jogging back? Rotating properly? Boxing out? Communicating on defense? That's basic NBA responsibility. And when you can't or won't do that, it's time to hang it up.
The film don't give a about your superstar name on the back of your jersey. The film shows the ugly truth. The film don't like nobody.
Kwame goes further and points out how the media shifts the goalposts for LeBron. When he plays defense, they praise his IQ. When he doesn't, they blame his age. When the team loses, they highlight his stat line. When someone criticizes him, they get attacked. Kwame reminds everyone how he's been treated in the past for making legitimate basketball critiques. Media figures mocked him, disrespected him, and tried to discredit his knowledge, not because he was wrong, but because he dared to criticize their chosen king. According to Kwame, LeBron has built a media shield, a protective bubble where criticism is treated like blasphemy. If a coach calls him out, the coach gets dragged. If a teammate struggles, they get blamed. If a talking head questions his effort, suddenly it's hate. This environment makes honest basketball discussion impossible, and that's exactly how LeBron wants it. Because as long as no one questions his defense, he can continue leaking out early, conserving energy, and stacking numbers. Kwame doesn't deny LeBron's longevity. In fact, he expects LeBron to own a lot of records. If you play as long as LeBron has, stay healthy, and dominate the ball, the numbers will come. That's not shocking. That's math. Longevity plus opportunity equals stats. But Kwame argues that records without accountability don't equal greatness. Being available doesn't make you the GOAT. Being strategic with your energy doesn't make you the best ever, especially when that strategy comes at the expense of team defense and winning basketball. One of the sharpest points Kwame makes is about mindset. Defense is not about athleticism alone. It's about effort and awareness. Plenty of players were never great one-on-one defenders, but they knew team schemes. They rotated properly. They communicated. They made the extra effort to be in the right place. Kwame says LeBron has the IQ to do that, but his mind is already on offense while he's supposed to be defending. He's thinking about his next possession while the other team is attacking the rim. This leads to repeated defensive lapses, missed rotations, late help, no box out, giving up offensive rebounds because he's already leaking out for a fast break. And when the basket happens, LeBron looks around at his teammates like someone else messed up. Kwame points out that this is what frustrates real basketball people. Not the missed shots, not the age, the lack of accountability. Kwame also touches on how LeBron benefits from having defensive specialists around him. Guys like Marcus Smart, Vanderbilt, and others are expected to do the dirty work so LeBron doesn't have to. He can pick his spots defensively, but those spots get fewer and fewer as the seasons go on. And when the game gets tough, when effort matters most, LeBron's priority is still offense. Not stops, not rebounds, not sacrifices. This is why Kwame believes the Lakers aren't going anywhere. They might beat weaker teams. They might sneak wins against flawed opponents. But against disciplined, physical teams like Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Phoenix, or other Western Conference contenders, they won't stand a chance. Not when their supposed leader is conserving energy on defense. Not when effort is optional. Not when stats matter more than stops. Kwame doesn't mince words at the end. He says LeBron is getting exposed. Not because he can't score, not because he can't pass, but because winning at the highest level requires commitment on both ends of the floor. And LeBron no longer wants to do the grunt work. He wants the glory without the grind, the numbers without the sacrifice. And that's why Kwame ends where he began. This isn't hatred. This isn't jealousy. This is basketball truth. He doesn't hate LeBron James. He hates stat padding. He hates fake greatness. He hates when fans celebrate box scores instead of wins. Because when you turn basketball into a spreadsheet competition, you lose everything that actually makes the game great. The film doesn't lie. The scoreboard doesn't lie. And no amount of excuses, media protection, or fan worship can change what's happening on the court. LeBron James can score 30. He can climb every stat list. He can keep padding numbers. But until he commits to defense, until winning matters more than records, this version of LeBron will never lead a team anywhere meaningful again. At the end of the day, basketball has always been about sacrifice. Every championship team, every real dynasty, every true leader had stars willing to do the ugly work when it mattered most. Diving on the floor, sprinting back on defense, boxing out when nobody's watching. That's the difference between empty numbers and meaningful wins. When a superstar decides those things are beneath him, the message trickles down to the entire roster, and the culture collapses from the inside out. What makes this situation even more frustrating is that LeBron knows better. His basketball IQ is undeniable. He understands rotations, spacing, and defensive principles as well as anyone who's ever played the game. That's why the lapses don't look like physical decline alone. They look like choices. And when fans and media refuse to call those choices out, they enable them. Accountability disappears, and standards get lowered just to protect a legacy. This is why the GOAT debate feels more manufactured than ever. Greatness isn't about how long you play or how many boxes you check on a stat sheet. It's about impact when it matters, effort when it's inconvenient, and leadership when the team needs it most. You don't get to claim the highest throne while asking for the lowest expectations, and you don't get immunity from criticism just because of past accomplishments. As the season goes on, the truth is only going to get louder. Better teams will target the weak points, younger legs will force the issue, and no amount of narrative control can hide what shows up on film every night. The league adjusts fast, and when effort becomes optional, opponents make you pay for it in the postseason, every single time. So the question isn't whether LeBron can still put up numbers. We already know he can. The real question is whether he's still willing to do what winning actually requires. Because until defense matters as much as points, this version of LeBron James will continue to stack stats, collect excuses, and watch other teams play for something bigger than individual legacy. If you rock with real basketball talk and honest breakdowns, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Either way, we're keeping the conversation real, and we're not ducking the truth.